welcome back to Girl versus Motorcycle. Liv Gritty's back. Like I said before in my previous video with Gritty, I always feel like the bike was really dark. Another part of that is the single headlight. The previous models prior to 19 had the passing lamps and the fairing, all that really cool classic look. In the 19s, they don't have those. So I waited, and Custom Dynamics released the Halo fog lamps for the Indian Chieftain. So I bought a set of those, and we're gonna install them today. And I'll show you these. The one thing I really like about them is that for the fog lamp, there's a halo that actually acts as a running light. So that's gonna be on. That's gonna be on all the time. That's your constant. And then, you know, nighttime, whatever, boop, gleam, then fog lamp, light everywhere, bright. So it definitely adds more light to the front of the bike. I'm a little bit of a safety nerd, so I look at it this way. The more you're seeing, the better, especially at night. So more lights, woohoo, more lights equal more lumens, something like that. It's a work joke. Anyway, so we have the lights and also the mounting clamps, which are sold separately for the engine guard. So it should be a pretty simple install today. The only probably challenging part is going to be removing the gas tank to run the wires under the gas tank. So that's about it. So we'll learn how to take a gas tank off today. That's pretty much it. Let's get started with the tools you will need for this project. Okay, time for the tools you will need for this project. As with everything, you will need your trusty torque wrench. Ta-da! Okay, we're gonna also need a regular ratchet. You're gonna need a 4mm hex for your ratchet. You're gonna need a 6mm hex, a 13mm socket for that. Your 10mm nut driver for your battery connections. A 5mm hex key T handle. I like these Christian screwdrivers, whichever is more comfortable for you. A 4mm, the same sense, T handle, hex key, whichever. A 13mm box wrench, and a pair of dikes for the wire ties. The kit comes with wire ties, but in case you will need extras, as you will see, small wire ties, never hurt to have. Some things that came in handy while doing this project. Same thing, T-handle, hex key. These are actually the sizes for the clamps for the fog lights. So I have a 3mm and a 2mm. The hex keys do come with the kit, so they will be supplied. A pair of long needle nose pliers to help with prying. Also flathead screwdriver might come in handy, and also a tiny flathead screwdriver might come in handy to help with the multi-pin disconnections there. As always, your shop rags, your simple green for any cleanup, but I will advise for any gas leaks you have while moving the tank, regular shop rags, dirty towels for soaking that up. Paper towels aren't great for that, but this is perfect. Soak that up. And I think that's it. So let's get started. Okay, so before we get too complicated, it seems the easiest thing to do is actually just mount the lights first, and then you're running cables and stuff. That's what the directions say to do. I'm very curious about how this is gonna go because I gotta get these things even, at least reasonably. Not only for the people on the road, so they don't look like, what the hell, but for my peace of mind, because if I look at it and it's not symmetrical, I'm gonna lose my freaking mind. I promise you that. So, I'm gonna start with a clamp. None of these are marked right or left or anything like that, so you just gotta go for it. I'll undo these screws. Now the clamp package comes with the Allen keys for this, for these screws in here. There's also a set screw in here, and what a set screw does is stop stuff from rotating. Trying to figure out what is the best way to do this, because I'm looking at the arm going, which way does this go? Because I feel like that's not right, this is not right. So And they, oh, duh, this is important. They recommend that this get mounted horizontally, and that's how it's set up. Now, if you go to their website and look at the page, you can have these so you have them vertically. Like, I think originally I was going to do it like down like this, but the way I move my feet on my engine guard while I'm riding, I'll end up kicking them and stuff. So I decided that this will be good right here. But so if you just do decide to mount it vertically, you have to change the lens, and there's a link to instructions on the site, or there's a video on the page for these that shows you actually how to do that, but I'm not going to have to do that. What I do have to do is get this mounted, so I'm kind of trying to figure this out, like, because what I don't want is it on the outside, I want it on the inside, but... So that's what I'm looking at right. I'm like, wait, what? Oh, wait, I think that's it. I think this. Right? That looks right. That's how I want it. A little gap there. Booyah. So now that I figure out where I'm going to do that, and that's good. What you could do too is kind of, there's bolts that came with the lights for this, and you'll see that later. You know, stick them in loosely, and you can figure out how to mount it too. I think I did that earlier. But... what I'm going to do is, I'm going to use my toe pegs as my guide. The dealership mounted these, so I didn't have to figure this out. So I figured those are in a good place. They work when I ride. So I'm going to use that as my guide for setting. Try to get that thing. For a second, I'm like, hey, I could use a level. But then again, you know, the Chieftain doesn't lean as much as my V-Rod does, but it still leans. So if you use a level, it's never going to be right. Duh. So this is where your best guess is probably a good scenario. So I'm gonna first get these set screws back in. Okay, so I'm not tightening these down all the way, obviously, because I'm going to move this up and down. But I also do want to know, I scoured the directions for all the bolts and screws and stuff that are in here. There's no mention of Loctite at all. No blue, no red, no whatever color. There's no mention of Loctite. So we're going to roll with that. I follow directions. If I find over time that it is loose and probably could use some blue Loctite, I'll note it somewhere in here. But right now, that's what we're going to go with. So... this is where it's going to get interesting. So what I think I'm going to do next, because it's like, oh, tighten this down, tighten this down, tighten this down. You know, unless, and I'll look, there's that set screw. See, I'm going to have to tighten this down somewhere because the set screw, the way the bolt sits, and I'll show you. It does kind of sit like this. That, I'm pretty sure... there's a good chance that that set screw is going to be blocked, so I won't be able to tighten that. Where's the other Allen key? Just want to see what my... yep, it's not great. That's going to be... it could be very tight. It could be tighter than I thought. So... I mean, hell, I could put it on if I can look, right? Okay. So, checking the diagrams on stuff, the mounting bolts. This nut is actually part of this bolt. That is a welded on, if you will. So I'm going to put that on there. I like to make sure things are a little tight. Remember, I'm an advocate. Do not over tighten anything. Snug is good. Snug will get you far. Just a little. What? See, I feel good. That's nice and snug. Okay, you got a washer. Then put that there. Washer. Call this a nylock or a lock nut. Anything that has that little plastic ring, it means that it's not going to back out easy. That's why usually after you get it on, you can't tighten it much further with your fingers because that's what it's not made to do, right? So let's make sure my socket's on, because what I want to do, again, not get it super tight, but I'm hoping to get it in a location where I can use the set screw. See, can we? I can use it this way. I always like using it this way. Oh, I can get in. Cool. All right. So now's the challenging part. How do I measure this? You know. I could cheat and put it right on top of there. I think that's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna put that right. I'm gonna let it sit right on top of the toe peg. Then it'll be the same on both sides, right? Right. Now it's this angle that we gotta work on. Okay, there's no like really reasonable scientific crazy method that I'm using to do this. It's literally these two things right here. So what I did, excuse me, what I did, I stood up, looked, make sure that's pointed straight ahead. Can even do that, straight ahead. Just make sure it's, you know, doing that thing, like straight, like pointed towards there. At least the L part of this for sure. But I feel good about it, so I'm just gonna tighten it down. Remember, don't over tighten, just snug. That's good. Also, the thing with the Allen keys, the tiny stuff, it's actually really hard. When you use one of these, it's actually really hard to over tighten them because it hurts and it feels like it's gonna break. So you're probably safe. And then I'm gonna tighten the set screw that's here too. Okay, feeling good about that. So now, I'm gonna look behind here, make sure this light's where I want it, and actually tighten this bolt down too. So, these are 13 millimeter, and that's just for me going to my workbench and going, does this fit, does this fit, does this fit, does this fit? It's 13 millimeter. And I guess the key is to make sure when I tighten it, it stays straight and doesn't point into the sky like it wants to do right now. Nice and snug. Yep. It's gonna take a lot for it to move, so. Yay! One light mounted. Cool. Let's go do the other side. All right, all done. As close as I can get it. It's not bad. There'll be 2 lights coming out of it anyway, so. All right, let's go look up the next steps. Okay, so I just want to let you know, in the directions provided, they tell you to leave what they call a drip loop, which is just a loop, like, so you make sure the cable goes down before it goes up, so that way rain doesn't go into the unit. What I cannot find anywhere is that, does the cable have to go directly up from here? The reason I bring this up is because I got like symmetry, I got weird like neatness, cable neatness things going on in my head. Like I'm very OCD about that stuff. And, well, I'm willing to go over this. I'm like, okay, I have to go. I don't want to put this. This keeps my feet from sliding when I put my feet in my engine guard way up here, because that does happen. Only on long trips, never in city traffic, only when it's safe. So I was like, oh, well, I'm going to have these wire ties, and it's got to go here, and there's this black cable here. And I'm like, wait a minute, you're talking about a drip loop. Why can't I just have the cable go down? Because what I did check is that I chucked the cable and like ran it down and then up to go under the tank, because it has to get to the seat. That's where all your harness will be and your connections. And the cable is plenty long enough for me to do that. So I didn't find any. I looked on the website. I double checked the instruction manuals. I double checked their install video. Nothing says the cable has to flow up. It's all about getting under the tank. So if you have a Chieftain Limited 19, I'm going to go like everything's on the same dimensions probably for a long time. You can go down and then up under the tank in the seat and still have plenty. So that's what I'm going to do. They also give you nice fancy chrome wire ties. Ooh, so they don't hurt you immensely. Now also, remember, I do a lot of cabling with my regular profession, so you always leave yourself some slack, but just make sure you leave some slack. But again, don't leave it so water goes right into the unit. You know, I just want to I'm going to take this other camera and probably ruin the whole thing, but I'm going to show you. There it is. See? Go down like that. All right, back to zip ties. So, and then when you use zip ties, you want to make sure, don't tighten them all the way down till you're sure about things. Oh no. I hate that I'm running into this problem because anytime a manufacturer gives me zip ties, when they come in the box with the gear that I order, the zip ties are poop. Short, to the point, just poop. And stuff like this happens. Either they don't actually zip or they break real easy. Let me see, maybe this will still work, but we'll see. I mean, I would like to use them because they're chrome. I'm like, that's fancy. Well, this one seems to be catching, so maybe it's just that, the end of that. But yes, so I will find a route I can live with. I'm about to give up on these. Never mind, I'll use my own, which are black, but whatever. Okay, I just wanted you to have a better close-up look at what I did, besides using black wire ties. Put down the engine guard there. Let me show it to you from the back. There. And then I did, oops. I put a little loop there. Now I am also adding LEDs to my bike. Not even going to do a video on that. That's easy. Everybody does them. But I did put my engine guard down so I can get that right away too, so I don't waste wire ties. So, and then I have the cable. It's going up inside there, and it's sitting here. So, again, I don't want to waste wire ties, so I'm going to have another cable here eventually for other stuff. So I'm going to leave it loose. But the next thing I'm going to do the same thing on the other side. And then we're going to take the gas tank off to get these cables going down that way. Stand by. Okay, now we're going to work on taking the tank off. What we're going to do first is undo these bolts here on either side. And they are 6mm heads. I still have my karaoke heat shields here, so I'm going to have to do that. Because those are in the way. If you're curious if I like them, yes I do. They help enough for me. I think everybody's seating position is a little different. Everybody's leg length is a little different. So some people prefer the Captain Itch, which I think are absolutely gorgeous, but to me they cover the engine, and I think that's the sexy part. But also, these do really, really well. Okay. So you don't lose your bolts or anything. Keep an eye on your grommets, your washers, all that fun stuff. Actually, I'll leave that right there. It is Vegas. It's still a little too early for me to take these off. So once these are off, I'm going to do your vent line, which is right here. Watched a video on this earlier. I'm going to get a little rag, stand by. I watched another couple guys do this, and they had to use a pair of pliers. It's like, which is like a pressure kind of mount thing. So, oh, there it is. Came out this side. So on my bike, it came out the top of the rubber. I think the other one was the bottom, but that's done. It's just a vent line, so I got the rag just in case. Okay, so that part's done. Next, I'm going to take a 4mm, and I'm going to do this screw for the panel right here. Woohoo. I'll lose that. Next, I'm going to reposition the camera to show you where this other one is. Okay, your next screw you're going to do, in here, there's another little Allen key. It's a 6mm. See how we can get this out. Oh, there's a little trick I forgot to do. Third, actually have this up. You can slide this back, and it's actually easier to get to that screw. Oops. Slide that back. Yeah, and it certainly is. Look at that. Go figure. Should have done that first. There it goes. Ugh. Put this in a safe location. I'm going to straighten up this wheel so I get clearance. And this should be the panel. Oh, you gotta undo the little button here on your thing. It kind of pops out. I'm going to find a nice screwdriver to pop that out with. I think flathead should do it. These are plastic, so just try to be careful. I want to pop it, like, you know, break it. Just want to pop it out, right? Oops. Oh, come on. I'm gonna have to push this back down. Oh. Or it slides right over it. Sometimes I watch things and I don't need it. I didn't need this. Bye to that. Okay. And then should be able to slide this out. It'll be a little. Just remember what connection goes where. I don't have heated grips, so I have a little gap here. Those don't plug in. This is for the saddlebag locks, so make sure you unplug those. And I'm gonna do it. Everything's a pain in the butt. Gonna get a little screwdriver. Little one. This helps a lot. Little. Just push that there. Push and come on. Come on. You know you want to. Come on. Arg. There it goes. Got it. Alright. That's disconnected. Set that aside somewhere gently. Okay, so I think next up we're going to disconnect. It's a big multi-pin connector here. We're going to disconnect that. Hopefully it's easier than that last thing I disconnected. Might be a little tight because we slid it back, so. It's a bolt from the top there. No, what was that? There we go. That's done. I did watch some videos, and they didn't really do anything else but this. So what we're gonna do is I'm gonna grab my helper because I know I have to disconnect something here, and if I gotta unplug something up here, I will let you know. Okay? Stand by. Okay, so the video I saw, the fuel line, they disconnected it from under it, but it was an older model, not that much older, maybe like a year or so older. Just taking a quick look. Look, I can't get to that connection under here, but it's actually easy to get to up here. So let's make it real easy too. Squeeze a little, there's two little blue tabs on the fuel line up here. You're gonna squeeze it if your fingers fit in there. There it goes. These are also real easy. Urgh. Much easier. Oop, can you hold the tank so it doesn't slide like that? push it, actually push it up a little bit. There we go. What's gonna happen? That's right. What did I do with my rag? Oh, it's on the stool. Gonna get a little gas out of it, that's expected. Alright, there's one more line I gotta check. Okay, so that last one here is the vent line. We don't gotta really do anything with that. So my lovely assistant's gonna pick this up, and just that's why I put that towel there right there so it doesn't. Boom. And the gas tank is off. Ta-da! Gentle! And just in case you need a better view of this, is the, move this a little bit for you guys. This is the fuel line, and there's a blue button on each side. You just kind of squeeze and pull. It's just hard to get your fingers in there, but you know, work it hard enough, it'll get there. All right, gas tank's off. It should be easy from here, right? Okay, now that your gas tank is off, they have this great trough here for all your cables. It's very, very pretty. It's very nice. It's just little hooked on each side to keep it closed. We're just gonna pop this off so we can see all the beautiful cables inside. I told you I was a cable nerd. All right. And remember, it is plastic, so you know, try not to force it, but it is gonna have some type of give because you have to be able to pop this off when we need to do stuff. There we go. Ta-da! Oh my God, that's so sexy. Look at all the colors. All right. And this one has a big old wire tie here, so I have big old wire ties. I have quality wire ties too. I don't have those cheapies that break real easy. Just pull that. Luckily that's on video. Remember how that goes. Remember where my trash can is. And then should be able to get the last one off. There we go. Booyah. Sexy. All right, so what I'm gonna do is, oops, have my like cables here. I almost forgot what I was doing. I did take a break for dinner though, so there's that. There's that. There. Oof. Oh, maybe it is a little shorter than I expected. This is that part of the part of the video, as in every video, where Liv finds out she was wrong about something. Alright. Now both the cables are in the tray in here. This may actually work out, and we'll see. I'll show you why in a second when we move my cameras on. Okay, now that we've repositioned some stuff, I'm going to show you the actual wiring harness. This is the wiring harness for the fog lights. And it's all, I mean, it's one piece, so I'll show you where that connects all at the same time in a second. Sorry. So these are the connections for your lights. So this whole wiring harness is pretty stinking long. See my point? I think I got enough to go with. Okay, so these are the connections for your lights. These two connections are what basically what you're doing is attaching this to the rear, your rear lighting harness. And this is my second Custom Dynamics install. I installed my plasma rods before, and those have an adapter to the rear lighting harness. So now we're gonna be adapter on adapter. So it'll be fun. This portion here goes obviously to the positive part of your battery, so there will be some digging around in here shortly. And then there's the switch. Now, they made this switch long enough so you can put it almost virtually anywhere. I'll get to that in a second. So let's get to actually wiring this up. Okay, just wanted to review the directions real quick. So the first thing you are going to do is plug this into the rear wiring harness. Again, these are my plasma rods here. And let's see, let me do this. You know what I haven't done yet? Which is very, very bad on me. I have to disconnect the negative side of the battery. The only reason I haven't done it is because I was doing a lot of placement and mounting. Oops. So let's do that. My advice, maybe do that before you take your gas tank off, or, I mean, it's fine. Just, I'm gonna do that right now. Okay, got that out of the way. Done. Okay, that's what I was just gonna do. Okay, so this is the rear harness. You can see it's coming from the back here. So I'm gonna disconnect that first. Ugh. It's these pressure mounts that suck. Okay, that pops off. And, oh Lord, okay. So, this is where stuff should be pretty obvious though. Because you're mating light connectors. Oop, and there's so much stuff here. This is, ugh. What a knot. Alright. So, these goes in here. Alright. Now you can plug the other part of your adapter in here. And if you don't have those plasmas, it'll be pretty obvious and a whole lot less messy. Okay, so those pieces are plugged in. I need you to excuse me. Oh, wires. I'm gonna clean up so much stuff later. It's gonna be great. This is your button. I can put that aside for a second. It doesn't need to. They say, ooh, mount it now. I'm like, why? I'm gonna do other stuff first. Alrighty. And right now, just for testing purposes, I'm gonna plug these in here. There is no right-left indication here because I think they're just one unit. They operate in unison, so you don't have to worry about rights or lefts or anything like that. Let's plug that in there. I like these plugs that they use too. They're really like sturdy and secure and thick. All right, that's in. That's it. Okay. Next stop is plugging in the battery. Positive side of the battery. You can see I have a little bit of a interesting disaster here, but we'll get there. We'll get there. For you Indian peeps, there's your little mount to this on. This is 5mm. Right here. Don't lose this. I lost this once. Funny story. I'll edit it out. There's no time. I thought something was up with my bike last time I went to Arizona. So I was in the parking lot of a hotel trying to get to the battery. I took this out. I dropped it. Did not find it anywhere. Don't know where it went. Nothing. And I looked for maybe like hours. I don't know. It felt like forever. So I gave up. I'm like, you know, it's secure. It'll be fine. Get home to Vegas. So we're talking like 4 or 5 hours. Something. I actually don't even remember. It's less than 200 miles away. Yes. Something like that. Like 2. Anyway, let's go say 200 miles. 200 miles. I get home. I want to start looking at stuff again. I pull off the side panels off the bike, and this was just sitting like on a little shelf, like a little hole. Just sitting there. Made it 200 miles. Fun story. Anyway, so you take that off there. Do your old slidey slide. Remember, never disconnect anything from here because all hell will break loose. The gods will come get you and all that fun stuff. This is where things get interesting because there's so much stuff in the way right now. It'll be fine. It'll be fine. The ever-dreaded positive cable. Oh no! Alright, so let me get your 10mm nut. Okay. This boot is sealed, so I'm like, you know what would be nice if this boot would work. I can get this through the boot, and that'll be neater. Haha, success. You have no idea how much better I feel right now. Okay. Alright, there's your positive. That's on, and I can put my boot back on. Come on, boot. There we go. Rubber boot. So excited I did that. Oh. Okay. It's okay. Let's put this back on. yeah. Then after you plug that positive and get that all situated, plug in your negative because now your wires are plugged in. All right. Batteries reconnected. Harness is connected. Lights are connected. Let's run a test. All right, let's get a little test going. Oh, sorry, I'm not here now. Oh yeah, they're on. I just punched in my code. All right. Let's see, I got the switch here. Switch. Oh, that's the back. Switch. Ooh. Oh. Ooh. Oh. That's pretty awesome. I like them. That's a nice. Okay, so we're gonna do some routing. The thing is with the button, you put the button where you're comfortable, wherever you need it. It's got a good, I'd say this is at least 2 feet. So that gives you some flexibility to put it where you would like. You know, everybody's gonna try something different, so I'm not even gonna make any suggestions. You stick it where you like. So get your button placed, and get your wires inside your seat all neat and somewhere you want. And then we'll get back to putting the tank back on. I'm going to do a couple other side things before I get that tank back on, but I will show you how to put the tank back on. Sweet. Okay, we're going to put this tank back on. And my little assistant can pick that up carefully. Now make sure your breather line is still under it here. And let's see, the secret is you got to get it closed so you can plug all your stuff in, but leave yourself a little bit of a gap. You have to pick it up from the rear and slide it a little bit. There we go. I think that's close. Hopefully that should be the right amount of closeness. We'll see. Once we start putting things together. Right, fuel line. That's important. The answer is no, it's not close enough. Here, get a little closer. Get a little closer. I guess this should go. Give. You should hear that snap. And then it's all kinds of fun stuff. And your little multi-connector here. Got cables now. Hey! Hey, wait! Alright, let's see if we can get the count on. I'll have to drum on that. You gotta plug in your saddlebag connector. If you have heated grips, plug in the heated grip connector. If you've added accessories, plug those in. Ha ha ha. There we go. Okay. Now, 6mm X. Torque wrench, 84 inch-pounds in the front. 84. It's out. Where are you? I think it goes in just fine. All right, the 4mm is 84 inch-pounds as well. I gotta go find that thing. Okay, so it took a while. It took some leverage. Screwdriver, skinny. We use needle nose pliers. Popped that out to install my new tank pouch bib. Got from 3 Mutt Customs. It's Awesome. Thanks, Chris. I'm really excited for it. Yay. And it matches my seat, which is awesome. He got the same seat material from Corbin. So, yay. Really excited about that. And then you get your bolts in. And just make sure you have your washers and your grommets and your rubber washers in the right order, on the right sides. Everything. And then these bolts are 18 foot-pounds. So I'm going to do that. Cool. And then after you get that done, never drop your torque wrench. Not good. So after you get your tank back on, all bolted in, forget to plug in your vent hose, excuse me. Tape them up just to make sure nothing would fall in, get in, because you just don't want that. And let's see. Should just, it's kind of a pressure thing, so there you go. Slide in just like that. Cool. And your tank is now reattached. Yay! Okay, so, next day we got the tank back on. I mean, it's one of those, dude, the same way you took it off, but in reverse. And so my custom dynamics install on the bike is done. I got my halo fog lamps and my plasma rods. As I showed you before, I got this custom-made tank bib pouch from 3 Mutt Customs. Thanks, Chris. So I put that in since I had the tank off and the panels off. So at this point, just going to finish wiring up. I did get a LED kit as well from Joe Florida. Their instructions are pretty cool. And I mean, most people can put on their LED kits. It's not that hard. Straight to the point. So I'm just, like I said, I'm a nerd about wiring. I like pretty wiring. I like it neat and tucked and nothing hanging. So I'm a little bit more picky about it. So I had the tank off an extra day to route everything all nice and pretty. But that's it. That's it for Gritty. So, rubber side down, shiny side up, everybody. Ride safe. See ya.